Find out what's happening this week in the world of books in our new bookish segment this and every Monday. Stay tuned! Welcome to Biblio Happy Hour's Biblio News segment, where we will be sharing new releases for this week, other titles to look out for in future, bookstore events, and what's trending. I'm your host, Victoria Wood. This is our very first episode in a new weekly series, and kicking things off today on Autumn's Equinox is a way for us to help usher in the brand new season. Before I get started, I just wanted you to know that you can listen to our off-the-cuff discussions, top shelf monthly recommendations, get behind-the-scenes content, perks, and more over on our Patreon page. Patreon is a super easy and fast way for you to support the show you love, plus it helps us to grow and embark on new and amazing projects for both the book and bookstore community. For more details, visit patreon.com/bibliofinder. And without further ado, here's what's new for the week of Monday, September 23rd, 2019. So before I actually start with what's new for this week, I'm going to backpedal to one major event that happened last week. So the National Book Foundation announced their long list for books across all categories for the 2019 National Book Awards. If you follow the awards and you love to make predictions, this was quite an exciting moment. I know that NBAs will be a big topic for discussion throughout this week, so I just wanted to make mention here. The finalists for the long list will be announced on October 8th, 2019, and the winner will be announced on November 20th. Now I'll be mentioning some of the books that will be published during the week of September 23rd. Homelands, 4 Friends, 2 Countries, and the Fate of the Great Mexican-American Migration. This is a sweeping story of the Great Mexican Migration from the late 1980s to present, and it's told by prize-winning journalist and immigration expert Alfred Corchado. Also new this week is 10 minutes 38 seconds in this strange world. This is a new novel on the power of friendship in our darkest times from internationally renowned writer and speaker Elif Shafak. Rena's Diary, a Holocaust journal. The hardcover version will be published this week, and it's a diary of a young Polish woman's last days during the Holocaust. So similar to Anne Frank's diary, Rena's diary became a record of her daily life as the Nazis spread throughout Europe. For a quarter century, Picador has been producing beautifully packaged literary fiction and non-fiction books. For their Modern Classics collection, they've paired iconic books with a bold, elegant design that's both small enough to fit in your pocket and unique enough to stand out on your bookshelf. This week, they will be releasing the 3rd installment in the series, and I have their VP Associate Publisher, James Meader, to tell us more about this collection. James, welcome to Biblio Happy Hour.
Thank you. This is a lot of fun. I really appreciate you inviting me.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm so happy to have you here. So tell us about the Picador Modern Classics series.
Well, this is just one of the many initiatives that we've tried to brainstorm and come up with to shine a fresh light or a new light on some of the older books that we publish. I think if you were to talk to our colleagues at a place like Vintage and Anchor,
yes.
Another house that's primarily trying to promote the backlist, books that weren't necessarily published yesterday, they might say the same thing that I'm going to say, which is an awful lot of people in publishing think that the only sexy part of publishing is finding that brand new book that no one's heard of and publishing it and making it a big hit. And I think at Picador, we think the backlist is really, really sexy. There's nothing that I enjoy more than finding something that was published 10, 20, or 30 years ago and reading it and having it speak to me as if it's the most perfect book that was published just yesterday. So on sort of a daily basis, we're looking at what we've published in the past and trying to figure out what is right for sort of a second look or a new look or maybe a new package or some way to get it out to people again so that they can discover it. And that's something that we're doing with the Picador Modern Classics.
How do you go about selecting the books that will be republished for the collection?
The selection process is a team effort, and it also has a few parameters. So with just coming out with a new package for any one of our books, we could pick pretty much anything. With the Picador Modern Classics, because they're in this very small, meant to be able to just be tossed in your purse or your handbag or the pocket of a jacket, they're very, very small, and that means that we can't pick books that are too long. They're also a second edition of something, and a lot of bookstores don't like carrying 2 and 3 editions of a book if it's not a big hit. So we've had to be careful to make sure we're picking things that readers have fallen in love with over the years. So we start with a list of, what do we have on our list? That narrows it down to start with. It has to be something that we have here at Picador or SSG. That's not too long. I think the upper limit was something like, a novel of 90,000 words or something. And that really does have a following. And we kicked this off back in 2015 when we turned 20. And we started with The Virgin Suicides, which is sort of a no-brainer. I mean, if you're going to call any debut novel of the last 25 years or so a modern classic, that's one of them. Marilyn Robinson's Housekeeping, Dennis Johnson's Jesus' Son, and then Hermann Hesse's Steppenwolf. And then in 2017, we decided to do a second series of them. And because the first series had been all fiction, we thought, why don't we do all nonfiction? And in fact, we were going through the selection process just in the wake of the last presidential election. And we were thinking about, the nasty women comment that Trump made and all that. And we thought, why don't we do all nonfiction books by some really, really intelligent, wonderful, brilliant, nasty women? We did nonfiction by Joan Didion, Susan Sontag, Hilary Mantel, and Barbara Ehrenreich. All just incredible, incredible writers and thinkers. For this time around, we thought, well, we've done fiction, we've done nonfiction, we've done all women, et cetera, et cetera. The only test on this one was, what are some absolutely compelling, fantastic books on the backlist that we love? One of the staff here thought that Michael Cunningham's The Hours was just one of the best books we've ever published, and it fit all the other criteria. It had sold 2 million copies. It's a short novel. That made sense. We put that in. I had never read Christopher Isherwood before in my life, and I picked up his novel A Single Man because I'd seen the film a few times, and it became my favorite thing I read all of last year. And we bounced things off one another. I mean, it was really a team effort where Liat Kaplan in marketing and Darren Kiesler in marketing and people in the publicity department, they all got to weigh in, and we selected these 4.
Everyone, the Picador Modern Classics Series 3 will be available in bookstores. You can already pre-order them online, but again, they'll be in stores and at your doorstep Tuesday, September 24th. James, thank you so much for coming on the show. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Victoria.
I know we're not supposed to judge a book by its cover, but the Picador Modern Classics are absolutely stunning. Tune in to our off-the-cuff discussion where I talk more with James Meader about the design process as well as their upcoming plans for Series 4. From Tor Books, the highly anticipated The Future of Another Timeline by Annalee Newitz. Now, this is a story of time travel, murder, and the lengths we will go to protect the ones we love. Now, this story is told from 2 points of view, and one person, I will say, is using time travel to create a safer future. Also from Tor is The Monster of Elendhaven. This is a debut novel, and it's a fantasy with a twisted tale of revenge that's set in a really original world, and they actually compare it to Oily and Real as Jack Ripper's London, so that's super exciting. So this book will appeal more to readers who love dark narratives and readers who relish in just bad people working to bad ends. Over at Viking Books, this week they have a new memoir entitled Know My Name, and this is by Chanel Miller. New from Riverhead this week is The Shape of the Ruins, and this is a highly anticipated piece of work from Juan Gabriel Vasquez. This is a sweeping tale of conspiracy theories, assassinations, twisted obsessions, This novel explores the darkest moments of a country's past, and it brings to life the ways in which past violence can shape present lives. From Simon & Schuster, a new novel by Alice Hoffman is entitled The World That We Knew. Now, this is set during 1941, during humanity's darkest hour, and in this novel we follow 3 unforgettable young women who must act with courage and love to survive. Also new is How to Start a Revolution, Young People and the Future of American Politics, and this is by Teen Vogue's award-winning columnist Lauren Duca. Also new is a debut novel by Charlene Teo entitled Ponty. Now, this novel is set in present-day Singapore, and it's about the value of friendship. Personally, I'm really excited about this debut novel, and I hope that you will give it a try. New in paperback this week is The Light Over London by Julia Kelly, as well as Dr. Sleep by Stephen King. Also new this week is a memoir from LGBTQ+ advocate Jackson Bird, and this memoir is entitled Sorted: Growing Up, Coming Out, and Finding My Place. Jackson Bird shares his mishaps and just awkward adolescence and how he finally sorted things out and came out as a transgender man in his mid-20s. Another debut novel that's out this week is Brittany Morris's Slay. This novel follows a fierce teen game developer as she battles a real-life troll intent on ruining the Black Panther-inspired video game she created and the safe community it represents for Black gamers. New from Hachette Books is an essay collection by Leslie Jamieson entitled Make It Scream, Make It Burn. New in paperback is 9th Street Women, 5 Painters and the Movement That Changed Modern Art. Also new in paperback this week is So You Want to Talk About Race. Also new is The Bone Ships, which is the first book in the Tide Child trilogy by R.J. Barker. Also new this week is Queen Meryl, the iconic roles, heroic deeds, and legendary life of Meryl Streep, and this is by Erin Carlson. If you're looking for a new cozy mystery series, Vivian Conroy's Last Pen Standing will be released this week, and it's the first book in the Stationery Shop mystery series. In what's new and trending this week, I would actually like to redirect our attention to Hispanic Heritage Month. It started September 15th and it ends October 15th. But I really want to bring your attention to an initiative started by Penguin Random House, and during Hispanic Heritage Month they will be donating $1 to We Need Diverse Books up to $15,000 for each post on social media using the hashtag Cuentos Unidos. Now, this is their theme for Hispanic Heritage Month, and they really want to highlight that being Hispanic is more than just coming from a Spanish-speaking country. It's definitely about being united through tradition, culture, food, family, life, music, and just stories. And they're really happy to celebrate Hispanic stories, and as such, they have a list of books that you can choose from if you're interested in reading a Hispanic narrative. Now, if you decide to post about this on social media, please use the hashtag Cuentos Unidos. This way they'll see it and they'll donate $1 to We Need Diverse Books. So for what's trending is actually a bit old, but I wanted to mention it here. So with the fall season, you think about everything pumpkin, and I know pumpkin spice latte has been notorious for many, many years. But what's new is this pumpkin cream cold brew. Now, my attention was brought to this amazing drink and new fall phenomenon by Jessica over at Books and Margs, and honestly I am loving this pumpkin cold brew. So that's just something new on the fall radar if you haven't tried it yet. So it's that pumpkin cream cold brew. It's from Starbucks. It is amazing. And if you love it as much as I think you might, you have Jessica over at Books and Margs to blame, because that's how I discovered this whole thing, I think about a month ago. Alright Alrighty everyone, that's it for today's show. Thank you so much for listening, and I would like to extend special thanks to James Meader, the VP Associate Publisher over at Picador, for coming on the show. If you think you might be interested in any of the books mentioned, or you just want to give it a second look, all the books mentioned here will be included in the show details over on our website, bibliohappyhour.com. Don't forget to follow Biblio Happy Hour on social media and sign up for our newsletters. To shop all the books I've mentioned in the show and to find a bookstore near you or when you're traveling, visit bibliofinder.com. To listen to our off-the-cuff discussions, top shelf monthly recommendations, get behind-the-scenes content, perks, and more, head on over to patreon.com/bibliofinder. And wherever you're listening, please don't forget to share, subscribe, rate, and review the show. Alrighty everyone, that's it, and I look forward to talking to you in next week's show.